Austin Reaves gets benched. Caleb Williams says that his public crying is for the benefit of society. And Pasadena police confirm that the Colorado jewelry heist was allegedly committed by UCLA recruits. Yikes. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the Faithful Angelenos Morning Report. So it is November 11th, 2023. We got a ton of news to get to, little tiny bit of personal news. I did buy into a soccer team, hence the new cap. This, I realize Orange County Soccer Club is not Los Angeles. Totally get it. I always wanted to own a soccer team, even if it's a little pathetic sliver. So there's that. Let's get to the news about LA. If you like being in the know about LA sports, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment, because it's always good when you're talking LA. So before we go through the news and notes, a look at the scoreboard. LeBron James scored 32 points last night to give the Lakers their first road win. Lakers 122, Phoenix 119, but the Clippers, my God. Dallas 144, Clippers 126. Luka Doncic's 44 points was more than Paul George, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden combined. They scored 36. Dallas went on a 35-4 run. Now, Kawhi Leonard says he's still confident in the Clippers, who are 0-3 since they have put James Harden on the court. Finally, Sebastian Mack scored 18 points, UCLA 68, Lafayette 50. Meanwhile, today, USC is at 6th-ranked Oregon at 7:30 tonight. It is USC's final road game of a very long and arduous season. Meanwhile, Arizona State is at UCLA at 6 o'clock. The Bruins are on pace to set a school record in sacks per game with 3.8. And Philadelphia is at the Kings at 7:30. Trevor Moore has 7 goals to lead the Kings. Now, do you remember when Austin Reaves was having that electrifying playoff run and screamed, "I'm him" to Memphis? Remember that? Yeah. Austin Reaves is no longer him. He has had his him status revoked, complete with a seat on the bench. And look, I'm not saying we should all carpet bomb the dude with a bunch of hate, but in 8 games, he's shooting just 30% from the floor and about 12% from beyond the 3-point line. So Darvin Ham has a conundrum. He knows he can't just keep losing road games while Reaves tries to figure things out. And so he goes with this counter idea. Maybe if I can't get enough offense, maybe I'll just ramp up the defense at the start of the game. You might recall that the Lakers have had really bad problems at the start of games this year. They have been outscored in the first quarter by 74 points this year. So he throws Cam Reddish, right? Maybe some defense will close the gap. Did it work? Not really. Reddish picked up 3 fouls in 9 minutes. Thanks for showing up, dude. Well done. In the meantime, we still have more than a dozen players left under contract with the Lakers in order to find out who is the next him. But right now, him ain't Austin Reaves. We got to face reality with that. Caleb Williams hopes that the video of him crying in his mom's arms after last week's game will raise awareness about mental health. This would be wonderful if Caleb Williams was actually under the health care of a mental health professional. We have no proof of it. We have no proof. Quote, "Being authentic is important," Williams said. And I'm here to tell you that is an authentic cop-out. It's an absolute cop-out. If you're actually saying, look, guys, I'm seeing a professional, I let it slip, here's what I've been diagnosed with, I'm fighting through it, it just didn't work at that one particular time. Maybe I buy this whole raising mental health awareness thing. But I don't buy it until I know what you've actually been diagnosed with, or actually if you've actually even seen a mental health professional. Because if not, you just lost it on the sidelines. You lost your grip. And by the way, when you decide to be a leader, I will die on this hill. When you decide to be a leader, you forfeit crying in public. You do. I'm going to repeat it. You forfeit crying in public when you become a leader. You have to take that stuff in private, right? Absolutely. Why? Because you want to get on a plane and then see the pilot board the plane and he's bawling his eyes out. Do you really trust that leader to land the plane? Of course not. You're in the military. Do you trust it when your leaders are saying, we're about to go into battle? Of course not. Absolutely not. Do you trust your boss who's about to give the quarterly report and burst into tears? No, you're dusting off your resume. So no, I don't buy this right now. I absolutely not. But no, Caleb Williams is saying that weeping in public is like this noble sacrifice that he's making on behalf of mental health. Look, man, losing to Washington does not make you a Christ figure. I will have to reread the New Testament, but I don't remember that. Caleb Williams finding an excuse for crying in public. I'm sorry, everybody keeps using mental health awareness as an excuse when they've never even seen a mental health professional. You gotta come at me better than that. Pasadena police say that the suspects in the theft of Colorado players' jewelry in a game at the Rose Bowl against UCLA recently, the suspects were recruits for the Bruins. Hi. That the names of these suspects are being withheld specifically because they are juveniles. You know, UCLA is recruiting high school students like every other college. Now, when asked what UCLA football looks for in recruits, sources said, well, they look through the game film, they look for the 40 time, the 40-yard dash, and whether or not they'll return Chip Kelly's wallet. So there's that. Well done, UCLA recruits, making Westwood proud. Mercy. That is going to be a hell of a recruiting class, guys. I know UCLA has had problems in the Chip Kelly era recruiting the best of the best. But that doesn't mean you have to comb through juvenile hall either, guys. I mean, standards, raise them a little. Mercy. Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford told Pat McAfee on his podcast that he has not considered retiring, that he wants to play until the wheels fall off. Quote, they're wobbling a little bit now as we speak, but I love playing this game. I love this team. I love this city, unquote. Now, Stafford's 35. He's the third oldest quarterback in the NFL behind Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins. He's also about 3,000 yards away from landing in the top 10 in passing yards. And yet, obviously, with the Rams having troubles over the last 2 years after winning a Super Bowl, people are saying maybe Stafford's got to go. And I got to tell you, the hype train for Stafford to be cut, to be traded, to retire, just keeps going on and on, right? Stafford goes to Pat McAfee. McAfee works for ESPN. McAfee is like literally this version, their newest version of Dick Vitale, former coach or athlete who totally comes out with catchphrases and tries to go overboard with the personality. Anyway, while Pat McAfee is talking to Matthew Stafford, and Stafford says, I'm not going anywhere, an ESPN scribe went ahead and said, Matthew Stafford's retiring at the end of the year. So who do you trust? Do you trust the professional scribe who didn't interview Matthew Stafford, or do you trust the guy wearing a throwback jersey and a pink sombrero who is talking to Matthew Stafford? The state of American journalism, guys. I couldn't have been more proud to spend half of my life in it. LAFC will face Seattle in MLS Cup Western Conference semifinals. This is the result of the Sounders edging FC Dallas 1-0 on Friday. I did look through the schedule. I still don't have a date for when the black and gold are back on the pitch. Meanwhile, the Galaxy made a series of roster decisions yesterday. There are some people that we know are not now coming back to the team. Most of those were expected. The biggest name of the bunch, though, where the Galaxy declined the player option, was striker Billy Sharp, who made a sudden impact with the team in their failed playoff run, or failed run to the playoffs, I should say. Sharp came over from Sheffield United in the Premier League. He was a replacement for the injured Chicharito. He didn't even go back to England after the season was over. He stayed in LA. He said he and his family love it out here, but he's not coming back to the Galaxy. Now, you might be saying, wait a second, he did put the ball in the net quite a bit, which is a fair question. But this is continuing a theme that team officials have harped on since the end of the season, whether or not the player is going to be available. The Galaxy lost a lot of players to injury last year. Now, Sharp wasn't injured, but he's 37 right now. 37. Could you count on that man for a long season? Hence, the Galaxy said, thanks for the memories. We have been adding names to the list of players that the Dodgers are interested in. We do this every offseason. Every agent goes to the scribes and they tell the scribes, psst, the Dodgers are interested in my player. And they do it for no reason whatsoever other than to try and start a bidding war. There is no actual knowledge of whether or not the Dodgers are interested in the player. Every player gets linked with the Dodgers during the offseason. Every last one of them. Well, we can add, we had a list. The list was 27 players. 27. And now it's 29. The Belcher report is reporting that San Diego could send Juan Soto to LA in a trade. How about not? How about that's not going to happen? How about shut the hell up? The Dodgers and Padres have made a couple of trades in the last couple of years, and each one of them blew up in A.J. Preller's face. They are not trading Juan Soto. Do you imagine the public outcry from that pathetic little town by the border if San Diego actually, after blowing up, San Diego blew up its entire farm system a year and a half ago to land Juan Soto. And now they're going to sell him to the Dodgers for chump change? That's not going to happen. They are not going to do it. They are far too petty. They don't want to help the Dodgers out. By the way, the other name that gets added to the list, Bo Bichette of Toronto. I'm telling you, everybody's just pulling names out their ass and throwing it up there. USC basketball coach Andy Enfeld calls the Trojans, quote, a work in progress, unquote, after 2 wins. He told the LA Times that Isaiah Collier, quote, is only a freshman, so we can't rely on him to do everything. We have a lot of other good guys on the team that need to step up, unquote. And this is true. The Bruins weren't exactly bare before this year. Vincey Iwuchukwu under the rim, Boogie Ellis. They had a lot of talent there. And granted, they're off to a decent start, but yeah, there needs to be some of the wealth spread. Continuing on USC basketball, though, let's shift over to the women, because I do want to give you guys some good news. Aaliyah Gales, this poor girl, was shot multiple times at a house party up in North Las Vegas about a year and a half ago, 2022. She finally returned to play basketball as the Trojans defeated Florida Gulf Coast. That was 67-51. Gales was an elite recruit, but doctors found 18 bullet holes in her. 18. So there was no way in hell she was playing last year. She's a redshirt freshman. She had to relearn how to walk. She was shot so many times, all 4 of her limbs were broken. Now, if you think I'm going to make a joke about that, you're out of your mind. I'm just being real with you. I am not intelligent enough to be able to break down each and every sport on the planet. Women's basketball, not my forte, but I do respect guts. Aaliyah Gales has guts. Aaliyah Gales has fortitude. So if you're part of the Trojan family, or even if you're not, give that young lady some respect. That is a hell of a thing to rally from. 18 bullet wounds and 4 broken limbs. And she's playing basketball again. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Talk to me about who is going to be the Lakers' next him, if it's not Austin Reaves. Tell me about whether or not you think UCLA football needs to lift its standards when it comes to recruiting football players in terms of their criminal record. And if you enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.